Post Dressrosa, we in the community have been fascinated by Luffy's Grand Fleet. The addition of 5,640 members from 7 different pirate crews was something we honestly did not see coming. And by we, I mean me, because honestly at that point in the story it had never really crossed my mind. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at a few characters in which I believe will be joining Luffy's Grand Fleet after Wano. And make sure you do stay tuned, because honestly, you might be surprised. Now before I get started, as usual, make sure you leave a like on the video as it helps so much with that YouTube algorithm. And make sure you subscribe so that you can remain up to date whenever I, Mr Premps, drop more content just like this. And now the formalities are out the way, let's get into the video. We as readers or watchers of One Piece have been with Luffy right from the beginning of his journey, and we've seen how Oda would normally have him choose the members of his crew, and quite frankly it's usually in a comedic fashion, or of Luffy's sheer will of refusing to take no for an answer. However, Luffy made it very clear that he wanted around 10 members in his crew, and so to me, I thought this was the norm. I remember back on Dawn Island with Shanks and the few members of his crew that he was travelling with, and to me that was what I thought pirate crews were. Well, in the story anyways. I never imagined that there were such huge pirate crews and fleets, but how naive was I? That was until we met Whitebeard. And yes, I understand we passed through arcs such as Alabasta and saw organisations such as Brokeworks, but those weren't really pirate crews to me. So here's me thinking that the pirate crews that we would get in the story would be small, and that was until our introduction to Whitebeard in One Piece manga chapter 434. And it's in this chapter that we see Shanks show his overwhelming Conqueror's Haki ability, knocking out multiple members on Whitebeard's ship, which made me realise that there are indeed large pirate crews. But fast track to Marineford, we saw even more from Whitebeard. We found out that Whitebeard had 1,617 members in his crew, and then found out that there was another 43 allied pirate ships that joined Whitebeard. And honestly, that blew my mind, because what about those who didn't show up at Marineford, and how the heck was our protagonist, Luffy, ever going to live up to such a standard? The battle at Marineford really put things into perspective for me, and here's why. First of all, to be a great pirate like the likes of Whitebeard would really take some doing, and the military had some serious might too. So how was it that Luffy could ever get to this stage? Well, clearly Oda was way ahead of us, and in Dressrosa, Luffy picked up in excess of 5,000 allies who fly the Straw Hat banner and refer to themselves as the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. And as a reminder to those who may have forgotten who they consist of, we have 75 members from Cavendish and the Beautiful Pirates, 56 members from Bartolomeo and the Barto Club, who honestly I seriously love just for Oda's gag that's been given to them of absolutely stunning Luffy. We also have 1,000 members from Sai and the Hapo Navy. The smallest crew of 4 members is led by Ideo and the Ideo Pirates. We also have 200 from the Tontatas led by Leo. We have 5 members from the New Giant Warrior Pirates. However, the largest addition is from the Yonta Maria Grand Fleet, which is led by Olympus. So totaling this all together brings Luffy's Grand Fleet to 5,640. However, I honestly believe that Oda intends for this number to grow. So let's take a look at a few people that could be joining. So first on the list has got to be Boa Hancock and the Kuja Pirates. And where do I start? Maybe it's the fact that Boa absolutely loves Luffy and literally would follow him to the ends of the earth. However, with the abolition of the warlord system due to the events of the Reverie and what we believe the introduction of an alternative force conjured up by who we presume to be Vegapunk, I believe the only purpose Boa has in the story now is to support Luffy. And what better way than to take herself and the Kuja Pirates and join Luffy's Grand Fleet. Amazon Lily will be protected under Luffy by being part of his territory. And honestly, I'd love this because we know the Kuja Pirates aren't anything to be played with. They are basically all warriors who can proficiently use haki, so what's an addition to the fleet they will be? Next on the list is Jin, and for those of you who don't remember Jin, he was part of the Krieg Pirates and one of the protagonists we met way back in Baratie. Now Jin did leave the Krieg Pirates, and once Luffy defeated Krieg, Jin fully respected Luffy, and he said that he would be looking forward to meeting Luffy again in the Grand Line. So to me, I don't necessarily believe that this was a coincidence in the story, and can almost be seen as Oda foreshadowing that we will once again meet Jin. And I know a lot of us thought this would happen during the Whole Cake Island arc, with the whole hostage situation, but since it didn't happen, what's to say that Jin hasn't formed his own pirate crew yet and happens to be somewhere on the Grand Line? He might come across some sort of news about the Straw Hats and decide to follow them. And I think that's something that I'll be completely down for. So let's see what happens. Now, since we've gone through 2 reasonable picks, I think it's time for me to go out of the box a little bit and choose someone else that maybe a few of us wouldn't think of joining the Grand Fleet. And that person is Caesar Clown. And for those of you who've seen my top 5 future Straw Hat video, you may have seen that I have him as a potential candidate to join the Straw Hats. But maybe he'll just form part of their Grand Fleet as a single individual, and this is simply because he has too much relevance in the story to not come back in some sort of fashion. And I feel like the only way he can redeem himself is to ally himself with Luffy and the Straw Hats, because Big Mom could want him and Kaido could want him, and he has links with Vegapunk, so honestly I do find him such an interesting character. So shout out to my boy Gastino, because I can't wait to see him again in the story. Next on the list is someone that most of you probably expected, and that's Katakuri and some of the de factos of the Big Mom Pirates. And this is one I'm not totally sure about. We know Katakuri was in admiration of Luffy and looks forward to seeing him again. But to me, it just doesn't feel like he would officially call himself a Grand Fleet member underneath Luffy. I could see him being an ally and maybe supporting him down the line, but to be an official Grand Fleet member just doesn't feel natural to me, just in regards to his character, so I think this is highly unlikely. However, I just knew that if I didn't bring this up, there would be at least one person who would be on my case. The next members I believe will be joining the Grand Fleet is Aladdin and the remainder of the Sun Pirates. With Jinbei leaving as captain of the Sun Pirates to join Luffy and the Straw Hats, it only feels natural that the Sun Pirates would be subordinates of Luffy too. They were extremely important towards the end of Whole Cake Island in helping the crew get away free, and since then we haven't heard much about them. But to me it feels like regardless of whatever happened at the end of Whole Cake, they would definitely join the Straw Hats. Think about it. Either they all survived and choose to continue supporting their original boss, Jinbei, who's now with the Straw Hats, or the majority of them died, and so the remainder of the pirates still continue to support the Straw Hats to ultimately find out what exactly it is that they sacrificed all of their members for. So watch this space. Hopefully we find out what happened with them soon, but I can definitely see them as joining the Grand Fleet. The final members that I believe will be joining the Grand Fleet is Marco and the Remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates, and this is the one I put a lot of stock in. In One Piece manga chapter 992, we got some dialogue between Marco and Big Mom, in which she questioned the lack of discipline of the Remnants of the Whitebeard Pirates, and why Marco was supporting the Straw Hats, in which Marco explained that they're not bound by the words of Whitebeard and free to do as they please. And this is where it really clicked for me, that although they're free to do as they please, a lot of them would choose to stick by Luffy, whether it's for being the brother of their friend Ace or one of Whitebeard's orders of protecting Luffy. I believe a lot of them understood the passing of age through Whitebeard's actions at Marineford and may be betting on Luffy too, and so will choose to be there to support him. We currently have the likes of Marco and Izo and Wano, so it's only a matter of time until we're reintroduced to the likes of Jozu and even Vista. I mean, surely Zoro and Vista must meet at some point, and therefore I truly believe that a lot of the remnants will form together to join Luffy. Particularly towards the end of the story when the battle between Luffy and Blackbeard takes place, but let's wait and see. So that about brings my list to the end. I know there's so many more characters I could have spoke on, like the likes of Bellamy, Germa, Crocodile and so forth, but I think that's a discussion for another time. I'd honestly like to know what you guys and girls think. Do you think my list is right? Or do you think there's anyone I really missed out? Let me know down in the comment section. And as always, if you like anything I've had to say, please make sure you leave a like on the video. And if you would like to see more content just like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss out whenever I drop more gems just like this. Say